Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the stream. Today we are going to be playing another top 16 match in the Old School Magic Summer Derby, Seth Roncoroni versus Pez Unholy, right here on the stream. And if you take a look at those deck lists, those main decks are exactly the same. So this definitely is quite the mirror match. The only discrepancies are between sideboard cards. So we are going to get to that match here in just a moment. I do appreciate everybody who is here, and please remember to tune in for my regularly scheduled stream. I play 3 rounds of Old School Magic every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern as part of the Northern Paladins Tuesday Night Gauntlet. Also coming up tomorrow, I race in Final Fantasy Randomizer as part of the Duckling Derby tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. So please join me for that. It should be a good time. Race number 3 of 4. Race number 1 didn't go so well. I redeemed myself in race number 2, and then I'm feeling good about race number 3. So I do appreciate everybody who joins me for those as well. So we are going to bring it into the players. So we're going to bring it into the players right now. And gentlemen, why don't you go ahead and say hello to everybody, Seth and Pez.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, everyone.
So you guys are on the same team, and you're playing the same deck. It's a little bit of a change in the sideboards between the two of you. So this definitely should be interesting. So you guys both had some excellent records when it came to the tournament proper. So congrats on that. But it just kind of sucks you guys have to play against each other.
That was probably going to happen eventually anyways. We would have won our first rounds against somebody else.
Yeah. So the difference in between the two decks, it looks like Pez, you have 4 copies of Swords of Plowshares, one kind of hidden in that picture, and then Seth, you actually only have, it looks like 3 copies, and you have
two swords.
Oh, 2 Swords of Plowshares.
You want an extra city in a bottle and an extra order.
Yeah, extra order, extra city in a bottle. So thoughts from either one of you about the sideboard differences, how it's worked out for you, or what?
We went back and forth on that order quite a bit. Seth was always going to pick it, but Chef and me were thinking that we really liked the full control plan after the sideboard with 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he also played the extra city in a bottle. I don't know, I think that's more of a preference. I mean, the swords and city are going to kind of do some of the same things in some matches.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much right. This extra city of the battle took the place of the sword, and then I fear mono black, I think, a little more than these guys. And I played it twice. Although I will say this, the second time I think I played it, I could only find 10 cards in my sideboard, so I didn't even have the third order to actually bring it in. So I played that with a 10-card sideboard. But, you know, the theory was sound.
Yeah.
Just, you know, me being lazy and, you know, incompetent.
That happens sometimes. Now, if you guys watched last night's match, obviously Chef had some issues when it came to mana both games. But, I mean, you know, when his opponent was destroying them, it probably doesn't help either. But have you guys experienced mana issues with either of your decks?
Yeah, we're always running lean in these decks, man. That's always a constant issue for us.
Right.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's a risk, right? Like anytime you have 4 colors, and you know, some double white spells, and so that's like reducing that. But like the biggest thing is you'll get stuck with like a Derriler in hand or something like that a lot of times. You know, I think people the best, like when you go against a good player, you probably have a little more mana issues because they know how to properly like destroy your lands. Whereas I think a lot of players will just automatically just blow up the first one with the strip mine, and that's usually okay. You know, it's usually like that, or they'll automatically kill a factory, and that's usually not the correct thing against what we're doing.
Yeah, hitting colored mana sources is generally more important than getting the factories. I mean, especially since both of you have different ways to deal with factories that don't involve artifact destruction. So,
well, that was like the #1 most card played in all these formats is Mishra's Factory, so you have to really be prepared for it. You know, lots of instants to get rid of it. Obviously, strip mines.
Yeah,
definitely some good cards. So, all right. So, Pez, you're on the play. Is that what it is?
Yep, I'm putting 2 back, but I'm gonna figure that out.
Okay. Oh, so you mulligan down to 5 already. Oh, okay.
And I'm keeping my 7.
All right. So I'm gonna mute myself here, and you guys have fun. And
Thanks,
I'll do my best to keep life totals on the stream as well. I will only interrupt if I see something kind of silly that happens. So
please do.
All right. Good luck. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. So. We are muted, and Pez, as he said, mulligans down to 5. They even have the same sleeves. I think that is just accidental, but it is actually pretty funny that they do have the same sleeves as well. Because Pez is in Pittsburgh and Seth is in New York City. So, hey Bruins, how are you? All right, so Pez starts off with a land, a Mox, and a Demonic Tutor. I'm going to assume that he's going to go for Ancestral Recall. That would make sense. The land was a scrub land, so I can't quite tell which Mox that is because it's covered. I didn't see it when he played it. But if he's going for Ancestral Recall, I'm assuming that's a Sapphire there. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right, and then Seth goes Plateau into Alliance. So, both with pretty strong starts. 3 mana for a Wheel of Fortune. All right, and then Pez is going to take a point down to 19. All right, that works too. That might be what he tutored for. Maybe he tutored for the City of Brass so that he has all of his mana. That's a good way to deal with a mulligan, is to draw 7 cards. And then passing the turn. Alright, Seth in the tank here. Obviously he's going to swing. Now, some of you may not be aware that Seth loves Summer Magic cards, so his Savannah Lions are in fact the Summer Magic cards. Why the same decks? They are on the same team. And these are the decks that they ran in the 8 rounds of the Old School Magic Summer Derby. So all 3 members of their team made it to the top 16, so obviously they're doing something right. Alright, so Seth strip mined the City of Brass. Pez played another City of Brass, dealt with the lion, and then put a lion out of his own. Seth deals with Pez's lion. So, how do I like the orders in this list? I'm not a fan of order because of the double whites. I discussed it with the players beforehand. It seems pretty greedy. I do like it in the fact that there are, it is a format that allows for Mistress Factories. So, 4 Mistress Factories means that the orders are better than something like White Knight or something along those lines. Orders can block and kill a factory with first strike. They can attack into a factory that is not thick and become a 3/3 and trade with a factory, or with 3 white mana can give itself first strike. So I do think that they do have some merit. I just don't like how lean the mana is, especially in a 4-strip format. But alright, so trading 1-for-1s back and forth here quite a bit. Pez down to 13 because of that City of Brass and some Psyblasts. Not sure if, it's, especially in a mirror match, it's going to be more of a chess match. And obviously we'll take a look at those decks and sideboards. Pez has 4 Swords of Plowshares, and Seth only has the 2, so I think that those swords could end up being pretty good for this matchup. Seth was going to play a Tundra, but then decided to play a factory instead. So, activates the factory that's not sick and attacks. Pez moves over to his City of Brass to bluff, which is great. And now he does not have anything, and he takes 3 more. So, half of Pez's life is gone now. Dealing some damage finally. Alright, so 2 factories on Seth's side. Enough mana to activate both and possibly swing for 4. Pez has that strip mine though, so if that is the case, he can strip one of them. Now, generally, when it comes to playing against this deck, you want to get rid of the colored mana sources. But with Pez's life total getting down there so low, he might want to consider using the strip mine on one of the factories if both of them attack. Now, the good thing is both players know exactly what the decks are. Alright, Seth decides not to attack. Both players know exactly what the decks are because they're both playing the same cards. So, alright, so Pez is going to swing here. If he has something in his hand that deals with a factory, this is definitely a smart play. Even if he doesn't, it's a nice bluff because of the fact that he does have access to all 3 colors of his mana. Well, technically 4 colors. Alright, so Pez is going to get rid of the white source. So no double blue, no white source there. And although double blue really doesn't matter. Alright, so that is a lot of damage. So it is now 14 to 6. Psyblast is huge right now. Alright, so now Seth has enough mana to activate both factories again. And possibly swing. I can see that Seth has 2 cards in hand. It looks like Pez has 3. Doing a check on the graveyards to see what spells have been cast. Now again, both of these players know card for card what the main decks are. So, alright, so Seth is going to cast a Wheel of Fortune. It's going to load up the hand of both players. So Pez is going to cast probably Disenchant here. Get rid of one of the Moxen. Alright, get rid of the red Mox so that the burn can't come through. Both draw 7 cards. Seth ended up discarding the Time Twister. He's probably debating between the two, Time Twister and Wheel of Fortune, based on what is in the graveyards. Excellent heads-up play here when he had both, is to cast the Wheel of Fortune instead. Alright, so we got a Strip Mine to strip the city, a Lotus, and now the only way that that factory is swinging is if he cracks the Lotus, so that's probably not going to happen. Triple Chains. Okay, well, I mean, that's a thing. And the first game goes to Seth. Ooh, what happened there? Alright. Having some technical difficulties there. So let's see what we got going on here for the decks. Again, we've got I'm only sad that only one Daralar will move on. Yeah, definitely so. Both players are playing with a Daralar in their main deck, just as a one-of, and it is not something that sees a lot of play, and it isn't very detrimental when it comes to either one of these decks. So, alright, so now some back and forth when it comes to sideboarding. Again, the Chess Mash feature here is that, do the Blue Blast Swords come in? Do libraries come in? Do you try to go with control here or not? So Seth has the extra copy of Order of Leaper, and Pez has the extra copies of Swords of Plowshares. Of note, there are 4 Swords of Plowshares there in the deck. If you look at the one that looks like it's in the center, there's actually another one hiding back behind it. So there are 4 copies of Swords of Plowshares. Both of them have Sarah Angels, both in the main deck and in the sideboard. So Earthquake is definitely a good card. They both have Earthquakes in their deck. So we'll see what happens. Now, I mean, Pez took a lot of damage from his own Cities of Brass because of the fact that he played 2 different Cities of Brass in that, and he cast Psyblast. So we'll see what happens in this. We'll definitely talk to the players afterwards on how they decided to sideboard, because this is rather interesting. If you take a look at Seth's deck, it looks like his Soul Ring is also Summer Magic, so that is pretty sweet. And the Tutor and the Mind Twist are Summer Magic. Wow, those are really hot. I can't tell if that balance is Summer Magic, but I wouldn't doubt it if it is. I would definitely be impressed with that. Alright, so the players are getting ready to shuffle up and go into game number 2. So and let's hope that we don't have to deal with mulligans again this time. But I mean, Pez likes to mulligan aggressively, so it might not have been that he had hands that weren't keepers. It's that the hands could have just been okay, but not good enough. So yeah, disenchants probably come out in this because there are no targets. So other than factories, no dibs. Pez's Mad is your all-time favorite. Yeah, that Cyclopean Tomb is pretty hot looking, not gonna lie. So, no dibs. I'm not used to seeing these guys play them, and I didn't even notice. Yeah, so part of the reason that they're not running dibs is because of City in a Bottle. They did not want to have their threats negated by City in a Bottle. So that's why. And, they're running their own Cities in a Bottle in their sideboard. So, and that is the perfect reason why. Yeah, Damien, I do know that you love Tombs. Yeah. So for those who are not aware, Damien and I have played. He's been on the stream before for the Tuesday Night Gauntlet. He has a really sick deck where it comes to Karma and Cyclopean Tomb. So he turns your lands into swamps and controls the board until you die to Karma, which is all kinds of awesome. So you also really hate Dib. You know, I really love Serendipity. I have had strong feelings for the card for quite some time. I know that if it was printed in, say, Modern or Standard right now, it would not see any play. Like, it's in Historic on Magic Arena and doesn't see any play at all. So, dibs are nice to board out. Yeah, but they're just so aggressive. 3 mana for a 3/4 flyer is pretty brutal. So. Alright, so it looks like we are ready to go. Oh, no. Seth is going to choose to mulligan. Looks like Pez kept his hand this time. So. Alright, so we will see what happens here. Hoping that we don't have to have another mulligan down to 5. That would be unfortunate. But for those of you just tuning in, we are going into game number 2. Seth just mulliganed it down to 6. He is on the draw. He did win game 1. He drew a lot more burn than Pez did. Also had some lions early and was able to turn some things sideways. Pez took a lot of damage from his own Cities of Brass and Side Blasts and did not get to stick a threat. So, yeah. Alright, so Seth picks up 7. He's going to put 1 back, and then hopefully away we will go. Seth in the tank. Alright. He's going to keep that one, putting 1 back. Alright. Pez opening with a Tundra and a Mox and a Lotus and... Ooh, Mind Twist. Alright. Getting rid of 4 cards at random from Seth's hand, especially on that mulligan to 6. That means that Seth gets to keep 2. Yeah, fascinating. He did. He is. He's a really good dude. He's really smart, and definitely so. So, that Mind Twist is going to be backbreaking, probably, but we will see. I've had Seth on stream for commentary. I've had him on stream where he's been playing in matches, and I've had him on stream across the table from me. So. He is definitely a very astute player. He is very well versed in all things Magic, which is really, really good. Yeah, it was a brutal opening, but not much is going on now. So, Seth, strip mined the lands. Pez hasn't dropped anything. Okay, there is a Savannah Lions now. That Chaos Orb, you don't always want to use it on something like Savannah Lions, but if Seth can't get a red source, then he might be forced to do so. Alright, swinging for 2. Savannah Lions is so good. 1 mana for a 2/1. If it keeps swinging and keeps on doing damage, obviously the more times it hits, the more efficient it is. Like, even still, I think that he swings into the factory because the factory's not sick. If it takes Seth off the land, then so be it. But Seth could activate it, and if Pez has a lightning bolt, then the factory would die and Seth would take some damage. So, activating the factory. Alright, he's letting him go. Oh no, he's activating. Okay, activating the factory. Blocking. Oh no, okay. So he's not activating the factory. He's activating the Chaos Orb, using the factory as the lions. direct hit. Okay. Another plateau from Pez. No blue mana source on that side of the table. Alright, so no red from Seth. Oh, no. I spoke too soon. City of Brass. Alright, Seth has access to all of his colors. So Seth could still swing here. You know, he's recovered nicely from getting his hand twisted away. So... Psyblast to the face. Alright, brings both players down some more. Pez is at 16, 14 for Seth. Seth might have Chain Lightnings in his hands, which is obviously with Pez having double red up, a Chain Lightning is not very good. Specifically because Seth is down in life and would have to tap a City of Brass. So if Pez taps and only leaves one red source open, that would mean that a Chain Lightning would be much more likely to get fired off. Seth takes 3, down to 11. Psyblast. All kinds of firepower coming out from both sides of the table. Alright, here comes the factory. I'm assuming that Pez has a way to deal with this factory, or else he wouldn't have fired off that bolt when he did. Sisters of the Flame represent. Yep. Alright, there he goes. Heads up play by Seth, though. Make him have it. Obviously, you're not going to assume that Pez is going to make a play mistake. So, that bolt was definitely something that was calculated. One card in Seth's hand. Quite a few in Pez's hand. A lightning bolt. Using the city. Plowshares. I got some life totals wrong here. Okay, Chaos Orb. There's the Darylore. Alright, so Seth is taking a point for that. Here comes the Darylore. Probably not going to be on the table very long. I'm going to assume that that Chaos Orb is going to take care of the Darylore. You have noticed that they have not been doing Gentleman's Flips, that they are actually flipping their Chaos Orbs onto their permanents. Both of these players are pretty good when it comes to flipping Chaos Orbs, so chances are there are not going to be too many misses. Ancestral Recall from Pez, finally drawing a blue source. Brings him down to 11. Another blue source. Alright. And an order. Another order? Oh, Time Walk. Alright. Might as well, right? Get in when you can. Another blue source. All the blue mana. So is he going to swing in for 4? Yep. Brings Seth down to 5. Not quite the best situation to be in, but that order has done a lot of work. That blue source came in at a really good time. Yeah, music is relaxing. It's supposed to be. Alright, so Pez gains 2 off of that Source of Plowshares. It is 13 to 5. Pez still doing much better. Ooh, what do we got here? Earthquake for the W. Alrighty, so we got W's on both sides of the table, which means that we are going to be going into a game number 3. Whew, so much fun. So again, we'll take a look at the decks. The main decks were exactly the same, so it just comes down to different sideboarding. So we know that the Swords to Plowshares are in there, and the Earthquake was in there for Pez. So this is interesting. Not sure if the Blue Blast came in, but I'm suspecting that they did. But we will definitely have to see. We'll definitely talk to the players afterwards. So those draw 7s are pretty huge, having both of them in such an aggressive shell. I mean, think about it. We've got the Lions, the Bolts, the Chains. You know, all those are 1-drops. So, and then, you know, with the 2-drops like the Orders of Leaper, or the Disenchants, or like Time Walk and Ancestral, or Chaos Orb, or even Demonic Tutor, you know, all kinds of things you can do with not a lot of mana on the table. So definitely interested to see how they sideboarded, what they sideboarded in. So we have seen Swords of Plowshares, and we have seen Earthquake. So we will see. It looks like they are both going into their sideboards again and doing some more sideboarding. So we will definitely see what happens here. All right, so Pez won that one. So that means we're going to game number 3, and Seth will be on the play. So this should be good. I'm doing some shuffling, some pile shuffling, some riffle shuffling, trying to get some cards ready and raring to go. So let's see what happens in game number 3. These guys have played a lot of games against each other, so you know, they're friends. Obviously, being on the same team, you know, they're not going to try to cheat each other. Not that either one of them would cheat anyway, but you notice that they're not presenting their decks for any kind of real cut or anything like that. That's what part of Old School is all about, is you know, the camaraderie among players, and you shouldn't have to do that. What's the fun fact say on your shirt? It says, "I don't care." I am going to be meeting up with some family later on today, so I just figured that it was pretty fun to have that shirt on when I do meet up with the family. I'm hoping everybody's enjoying the show so far. Going into game number 3, 2 aggressive decks. Haven't been playing very long. I mean, it is you know, it's a 1:15, so it's only been about half an hour or so. But 2 very, very good games, pretty close games, and we will see what happens there. Yeah, I'm sitting closer to the camera than I normally do, so that I can pay attention more to both screens of both players. When I'm playing myself, I sit back a little bit farther, so that because I only have to pay attention to one screen. But I'm old, my eyesight isn't that great, so yeah, definitely glad there wasn't a blowout. You know, I mean, 2-0s happen, and even with Seth getting most of his hand ripped apart in game number 2, he still put on a decent show and was able to hold his own for quite some time, which is good. And you know, that's the thing. You know, variance exists. Obviously, having to discard 4 cards on a mulligan to 6 is pretty brutal, but it's not impossible to come back from that. In the Winter Derby last year, I actually had a match where I got twisted for 6 when I had 7 cards in hand, and I was able to come back and actually win that game, and then win game number 3 and the match as well. So that was, you know, isn't always the case, but Mind Twist is a pretty broken card, hence the reason that it is in fact restricted. And there's a love-hate relationship with the card, Mind Twist and Library of Alexandria. Yeah, you love it when you are the one who is playing those cards, not so much when you are on the receiving end. So, all right, so it looks like Seth mulligan to 6 and kept, so he goes land into Ancestral Recall. I'm assuming that Ancestral was during Pez's upkeep, so that oh, it's not going to matter because there was a mulligan, so you don't have to worry about discarding. All right, and then Pez goes Plateau into a Lion. I've heard Ancestral Recall is a pretty good card, and you know, having it in your opening hand after a mulligan seems decent. So, all right, so the lion goes away. Another lion and a factory. And a factory from Seth. And a lion from Seth. We're going to see Pez play a Tundra here. Then both boards will be exactly the same. He's thinking. Strip mine on something. On the factory. Okay. Bolt the lion. And swing. Getting in there? Nope. Bolt on the lion. Oh, swords on the lion. Okay. Now, you can't see it on the stream, but Pez uses those old scry counters that have the pointer on them with the little guy holding his hand. So he actually had to flip over his counter because he went over 20 life. And they only have 20 pips on the front of them. Alright, so Pez again having issues with blue, plays another plateau and then says go. Not going to attack into all of that untapped mana and into a factory. Doesn't make much sense. I get it. And here we go again with a Darrellore. Move this just a little bit so that we can see that Darrellore. The hardest thing is if you have to use the Swords of Plowshares on a Darrellore because of the life gain, but Sarah Angel is pretty decent last I checked. So all right, 2 spells. Swinging in with a Darrellore. Not sure what I missed there. Oh, the factory company. Yeah, lots of changes when it came to Oracle text on Magic cards. There was not a lot of consistency back in the day, so. Pez in the same situation he was in game 1. Using that City of Brass quite frequently. Tapping it now, so I'm going to assume either we get a Psyblast or a Twister. Yep, Psyblast. Okay, Pez hanging on by a thread, but swinging in with that factory. Psyblast does it. Got to be careful with that City Brass not to tap it unless he absolutely has to. Because any red spell also. Yeah, Seth is definitely flooding. All kinds of mana. Chaos Orb. Okay. Balance. With 0 cards in hand. Alright. Equalizing the number of lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Pez has to get rid of 2. Getting rid of that City of Brass so he doesn't accidentally tap it. No cards in hand. Pez still has the factory and can continue to do some damage here if this Chaos Orb does not take care of it, which it seems like the Chaos Orb is going to do something now. So let's see. Get rid of that factory, I'm going to assume. Nice flip for the stream. Okay, so 10 to 4. Let's see what we can do. Pez does nothing and says go. Seth throws a card and says go. This is the boring part, right? Pez has something he's thinking about. He's going to throw down an order. Is he going to wheel? Yeah, throw down an order, I think. Oh no, Demonic Tutor. Okay. So what does he get here? A draw 7 is not that great because that means that Seth also draws 7. Some kind of permanent source of damage, maybe? Like a lion or an order? Deralar would be okay too, yeah. He got an order so that he could cast it right then and there. Makes sense. Yeah, because he can still swing for 4 a turn. Alright. Attacking with the order. Pumping it to 4. Bring Seth down to 6. And then Pez says go. Side Blast for the W. Well, that means that that game goes to Seth. So let's go ahead and bring it on into the players.
I feel
Gentlemen.
shitty beating you. I have to say, I find no fun in beating you, Pez.
That was a great match, guys. That was really, really good. Those Cities of Brass that you kept drawing, Pez, that was the death knell right there, because you just took so much more damage than from your own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Pez did a very good job of like using like mana denial there, though. Like,
right.
I think that was the big thing about this match. Like, the mana denial was on point, and he showed it. Like, I don't even know how you boarded Pez. This is what I did for both matchups. I'll show you. This. I brought that in. I basically just took out the chains. So I took out like a chain, brought in a sword, 2 swords, and a Sarah. Someplace, I think. Oh, she's on the bottom of the deck. That's right. So I did this and a Sarah, and I took out. What did I take out? This stuff. I took out my draw 7s and my 2 disenchants and a chain.
Now I was going back and forth on disenchants and chains depending if I was on player draw. Same thing.
Yeah, that was my thought, and then I just like, you know what? Like 3 chains felt good. I'm cutting my draw 7s down. I didn't want to die to a factory, but like, it was whatever. I think at that point. But I didn't touch my other dudes. I just felt like I could try and win the third war. There's the Sarah. So that's what I took. I brought those in and took these guys out.
Yeah, very similar.
Did you keep you took the draw 7s out also?
Yeah, I took the draw 7s out, I shaved the chains, and I took disenchants out and shaved numbers depending on how much I was playing.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
But
I also had 2 more swords than you, which were fine against the chains, and then I did these 2.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like we were very close.
Yep.
I mean, very, very consistent.
Yeah. I'm assuming you guys have tested both against each other, and then obviously all of your matches as well.
Actually, that's the one thing is that we didn't play the mirror match very much at all.
Not at all.
Oh.
Yeah, we were busy playing the other decks, like Shops and Atog was our matches we thought we were going to have a lot of.
And then we didn't even chat about like what we were going to do board-wise. It was just like, whatever. I didn't even think about it. I'm just like, I think it will work.
Oh, well, gentlemen, I appreciate you allowing me to stream. Seth, congratulations on the win. Pez, thank you again, and congratulations on another strong finish in the Derby. Sorry it didn't work out for you.
Trying to win one of these now. He's going to win one.
All right, but
thank you, Rich,
but that also means that
Pez,
Pez, I might be tapping into you if I do any more streams for the Derby. So I might have you as a guest on the stream for more commentary, especially if I get to stream Seth's next match. So
absolutely, man, it's always fun.
All right. So thanks, guys. You guys have a great day. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, Rich. Sorry we didn't play longer.
Oh no, that's okay.
You have a good one, man.
All right, take care.
Guys. Stay
Bye.
safe.
Okay, so that was a great match. Definitely so. Congratulations to Seth. And we're definitely looking forward to maybe streaming some more matches when next week, maybe some top 8 matches and such. So I appreciate everybody who is here. Again, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you follow. You can join me for 3 rounds of Old School Magic on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. I play 3 rounds with the Northern Paladins as part of the Tuesday night gauntlet. And then tomorrow night, if you want to join me and cheer me on for race number 3 in the Final Fantasy Randomizer Duckling Derby, that is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, I would definitely appreciate the support. So thank you all very much again for that, and I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.